So, you want to be able to do big damage like this, or outplay people like this.
One deadly shot is all it takes. I'm still good. We have wounded.
Fuck you.
Capitulación.
Then may I introduce you to Jaeger, a true glass cannon, one-shotting your enemies and getting one-shot yourself. Jaeger is a fun vehicle that has mobility and damage on its side with multiple viable build paths. You can build it like a brawler and have decent reload, or like a sniper, or a mix of the two. The thing with the Jaeger is, just like most other vehicles, it does not start by doing a bunch of damage. Until it levels up, its damage is increased once you do hit level 3, and it doesn't increase again until you hit level 10, but at level 3 with 2 ammo racks in a row, you should be able to kill the majority of vehicles that have under 2,400 hit points. When it comes to the playstyle of the Jaeger, it is extremely versatile and flexible. If you are someone who prefers doing damage from the back, the Jaeger will fit right into your playstyle. Same goes to being a medium to close range brawler. The vehicle also has a lot of skill expression, with weak point knowledge and shot baiting with your decoy, and using your smoke plus your thermals in order to confuse your enemies and secure kills on them. The Jaeger is very good at executing low health enemies as well, with a well placed critical. Now, onto the choices for the Jaeger. There are a few. In slot 1, the 2 good choices, depending on how you plan to play the agent, is the RHM 120 or the Verbiz. The RHM allows for better accuracy when sniping, while the Verbiz provides increased reload time for brawling. For slot 2, Miracle is the best option, reducing your decoy's timer and allowing you to place both decoy and smoke at the same time. With reduced cost and increased energy amount, you may also look at the Geist and think it would be the best option, but unfortunately, it's just a pitfall and caps you at max 2 decoys per life, and you still have to wait the cooldown to place the second decoy, which is not reduced with the Geist upgrade. For slot 3, you have 2 viable options: the Hosh, which increases crit multiplier by 25%, gives 35 module damage, and increases the shell velocity, which helps hitting targets at range. The other option is the Courage. It gives plus 90 to damage, plus 30 to penetration, and plus 30 to module damage. Whichever you choose is up to your preference. Hosh does have less total damage potential for crits, but the plus 5 to module damage lets you do damage to modules more often and possibly break them for criticals. I have noticed personally that you do hit criticals a lot more when using the Hosh than over the Courage. And with the Courage, the increased damage does mean once you have it fully built out and you're level 10, it does surpass the Hosh in potential crit. In some cases, you can hit well over 2k. I think the highest I've hit is like 2.4, 2.5k. The Hosh is also the better option if you aren't that well at hitting weak points and getting criticals, as it means the Alpha at level 3 is 570, while when you do have the Jaeger fully leveled up at level 10, the Alpha can get up to 645 damage. This can be important as well when you need to kill someone who's low health, and you might miss the critical, but you'll still do around 600 to 700 damage to make sure that you finish them off. For slot 4, All three options are viable. The Fed mod increases your max reverse speed and acceleration, allowing you to play peekaboo with the enemies at range, going in and out of cover. The D64 gives increased forward speed for getting into position faster, as well as a slight increase in reverse speed for helping with the peekaboo tactic. And finally, the option I prefer personally is the KMW, for increased forward speed and traverse speed to circle opponents better, as well as with the increased accuracy while moving. If you prefer brawling in your Jaeger, this is probably the best option for you. For slot 5, I prefer the ALRF. Essentially, the way the spotting mechanic works, as when you do spot an enemy, the enemy is highlighted, and increasing the spotting range increases how far away someone has to be before they get highlighted. Increasing spotting duration also means an enemy will remain highlighted for an extended amount of time once they break vision with you. So once they go around a wall or go behind smoke, increasing the duration essentially shows them on the map for a little bit longer and also keeps them highlighted for a little bit longer. But this is also an upgrade, which is an option for you early on when you don't have as much currency. Since the upgrade does cost 800, if you don't have much currency, it's preferred you actually just skip this until you've already got everything else. This is also the same with slot 8. You can skip slot 8 as well if you don't have the credits or the currency at the time. Slot 6, all options are viable as well. I prefer the Sabka because it gives both aiming speed, which is helpful during brawling and sniping, and if I do need to snipe, it does give a bit of accuracy when sitting still. The FOFEKOS increases the aiming speed and is the least useful of the three, as it only increases aiming speed, which can be useful, but not so much at range. It's like, what's the point of aiming faster if you're going to miss anyways because you don't have enough accuracy to hit the target? Finally, there is the Feli, which is helpful for snipers who want to place the perfect shot. The passive on this one is decent as well. The glare will be less noticeable to enemies and less likely for you to receive returning fire when sniping. The passives on the other ones aren't too noteworthy. The Sabka 200 meters thermal tracks, I haven't noticed it while using it. And the Fofkos, it uses energy when you're also using it as well, so I prefer to stay away from something that will drain my energy without me realizing it. Slot 7, the best option are either the iPup for increased reverse speed along with increased engine health, which will make it hard for people to crit your engine, and the engine bay is a pretty big target on the Jaeger. Then there is the Wii mod, the one I personally use, which reduces fire damage by 15%, and the increased forward and reverse speed is very nice for the playstyle that I like. I don't find the base acceleration on the iPup to be as useful, as the acceleration on the Jaeger is already pretty good to begin with, but it can definitely help out in a pinch. For slot 8, my preferred is the X18, but this slot is honestly your own personal preference on what you want to choose. It's kind of the same as slot 5, where if you are low on currency, it's best just to skip this one to get the other upgrades. For slot 9, all options are good choices. The CAD increases your accuracy when sniping. The Pans, although not as much, does increase accuracy while sniping and while moving and after you take a shot. Though to be fair, the accuracy after taking a shot is kind of useless on the Jaeger because you will be fully aimed by the time you've reloaded your next shell. And then there is the Sharp, which increases accuracy on the move. I personally use the CAD, but this is to make up for the missing accuracy that my personal build has. Just in case I do ever find myself in a situation where I need to snipe someone to finish them off. All options are good, and I only use the CAD to make sure that I'm a good all-rounder in case I need to hit something at long range. If you are doing a brawler build, the sharp might be a good option for you to make sure that you hit everything you want when you're close range, just because you get that increased accuracy on the move. Or you could also go CAD to make sure that you also have that all-round build to where you could snipe someone from far distance to finish them off if they're running away or something. And finally, for slot 10, there are two options that are viable. The Barrel Hold, which increases damage by 75, it multiplies the crit by another 40%, and the module damage increased by another 50. It does increase the incoming crit to your ammo rack, which is why you will see Jaegers get ammo racked a lot, but overall, the risk is definitely worth the reward. Plus, the perk allowing you to slow your enemies even more when you hit them in the engine allows you to chase down anyone running away from you, even another Jaeger. Then there is the SAIPH, the SAIPH. This hurts the sniping capability of the vehicle with its minus 20% accuracy when standing still, but increasing its brawling capabilities on the flip side by a decent amount too, as well, with the 20% aiming speed and the 20% decreased reticle size while moving. It also has the passive to reduce your next shell's loading time by 15%, meaning if you do consistently hit criticals, it will allow you to essentially have a 5.4 second reload on the Jaeger, which is what makes this option kind of viable. But for the most part, you're going to see Jaegers running Barrel Hold. For the first perk on the vehicle, you will want to use Sniper for the increased accuracy, as this helps both with brawling and sniping. For perk 2, you have a choice between Smooth Moves, which boosts your reload by 10%, or Bullseye Boost, which increases your accuracy yet again. And it helps out with the Sniper playstyle more than the Brawler playstyle than anything. So if you are going for sniping, I would say Bullseye Boost. If you're going for Brawler, then boost your reload with Smooth Moves is probably the option for you. For perk 3, Gunner Grip is the best choice, as it increases the stabilization when turning the turret. What this essentially means is it reduces the bloom when you turn your turret, and the bloom is how big your circle increases whenever you move your turret and anything like that. I also want to mention consumables. You will want to pick up Echo Pulse to help find enemies that are hiding near you or trying to sneak up on you. And for conditional consumables, I go with Stim Pack, but if you do feel like you're getting set on fire a little too much, you can always go with the Fire Extinguisher. Now, some people wonder how to properly use the decoy. To be fair, you could use it for what it is meant to be, just a decoy that you place to make people shoot it instead of you, which may only give limited results, or the other way to use it. Since decoy can take 2 hits before dying, you can use it to block people's shots. If timed correctly, this completely stops someone in their tracks as well. So if someone is driving at you and trying to ram you, you can drop your decoy in front of them and it completely stops them from being able to hit you. And it also can block one shot as well from them if you do this. You can also put it down in like a choke point. So in Sunset, on that map in the arena, the like Coliseum that's being built, the entrance ways, you can drop a Jaeger clone there, and it will prevent people from driving around a corner too fast, as it completely stops them, and they'll have to drive the other way just to go through the tunnels. And this allows you to either get away or have a momentary breather from the fight and heal up a little bit. It can also be used in 1v1s as momentary cover to make sure that you heal and that you can get enough hit points to make sure that you can engage again on the enemy trying to kill you. When it comes to smoke, if your decoy is down, you can also use this in a brawl, as only the Ray and Jaeger have thermals in order to see through the smoke to use it efficiently. You can pop a smoke as you start a fight and switch on your thermals so you can see an enemy while they have a difficult time hitting you, as they won't get any outlines on you when you smoke. Smoke also allows you to have a chance at retreating. But when you do smoke, just remember you do want to zigzag in and out while you're traveling through the smoke, as most people will shoot your last known location or in the general area. So you want to make sure you zigzag just to help prevent not getting. When it comes to maps, a Jaeger is pretty good across all maps. You can kind of play all of them pretty well. For Scarred City, like on Conquest, you can play, if you'd like to be more of a sniper, you can play the C field and snipe people as they cross and stuff like that. Or you can brawl in the B to E, D area. Usually on Jaeger, I don't go to the A part of the map just because A is a little bit too close quarters for me to feel comfortable. On attack defend, when you're attacking, you spawn over here, and when you're defending, you spawn on this B point. When you're defending, and even when attacking, you can come around the outside of this building to essentially flank the enemy and get behind them. When you're defending, you can also kind of rush through the city and get to the back of them on A and kind of just farm people from the back. This map overall isn't too bad of a map for Jaeger. It's actually pretty decent for him, even on bomb game mode. So in Blossom Crash, there's a few areas where you can play. If you're sniping, this field area is pretty good. City can be good for brawls and stuff like that. If you are on bomb, you'll spawn here where A is. If you spawn on this side on bomb, you can go along this road area, and snipe people at B, or same likewise with A. You can come along here to the bridge. This gives you good sniping positions here if you're attacking. If you're defending, you can kind of do the same thing by coming over to here in the city, or coming to the bridge over here to defend. At the start of the game, when you're defending, you can rush and snipe people at the start from here. But that's how I like to play Sacred Blossom. Blossom Crash on Jaeger. Now, when it comes to Sunstroke, Sunstroke's another great, like, flanking map. You got the avenues around A, around the stadium that you can get. These hills over here are great for sniping on bomb. So, like, say you spawn on attack, you can come back here and protect a spot while your team plants. Reversely, on plant, you can come behind this hotel here. When you spawn as an attacker, you come behind here, and you can surprise people who are sitting on B. Same as when you're on defense as well. I like to come behind the hotel and surprise people who are sitting in this, like, alleyway. Usually they're not expecting it. Now it is kind of like a one-time trick, because once you do it once, they'll expect it in that round. But usually you can get away with it on the first go of the round. Sometimes you can still sneak it past like 2 or 3 more times. Overall, this is a pretty good map for Jaeger. You can kind of just be anywhere on the map and do quite well. Noroko is another great map for Jaeger, just like Sunstroke. You got a lot of spots where you can snipe, especially around like this ridge right here, or this ridge right here, or this like crevice here. Just this area around C is pretty good for sniping. You can brawl quite easily in B to D area. Same with E to A. The one part of the map I would avoid with Jaeger is C. Just most definitely, due to the fact that there's going to be way too many people at C most of the time, that going there may just be a death sentence. You can kind of play, like if you spawn on this side of the map, play right here, in this like station area, and kind of like peek in and out as it rotates around the satellite dish. But otherwise, it's not a huge like place that you want to go. If you spawn like E, or if, like say you start either side and you go A or E, If you do decide to go to either of these spawns, you can always flank around as well and get behind people. So like if you spawn on the side, go A and flank around, you can hit people who are E and inverse. For this side, it's not as easy, but if you do spawn on the north side of the map and you go D, a lot of people who spawn on the south side, once they cap B, they'll go through this tunnel instead of checking this area, so you can kind of wrap around. The problem with doing it on the south side is if you wrap around here, you kind of come out in the same spot as people who just go through the tunnel, so you'll get spotted regardless, and your flank really won't succeed as well. But yeah, that's Nordoko, and that's the maps. All of them are really, like, I don't think any of the maps are bad for Jaeger. Some of them are definitely better, like Sunstroke, and even Nordoko. Scarred City is probably Jaeger's worst map, and that's only because most of the time it's going to be plant diffuse game mode more than anything else. Overall, the Jaeger is a fun and versatile vehicle and is very efficient in stalking its prey and pouncing on them with huge damage numbers when they aren't suspecting it at all. Your speed and mobility allows for you to flank enemies from unexpected directions, as sometimes the one who gets the first shot will win the 1v1, or outright you'll just one-shot an opponent. Jaeger allows for you to build him to your playstyle, whether you want to be a brawler or a sniper. As you grow as a player, Jaeger may become a better and better fit for you as you learn opponents' weak spots and weaknesses and how to take advantage of those other agents in the game in order to make sure that you deal and maximize your damage.